to our next guest, who I think she should be coming on the air pretty soon. But before we have our next guest join us, Miss Lauren McAlpin, who's coming by way of Atlanta today. This lady is not only a lawyer as well. These lawyers, I tell you, these women lawyers, these are bad, bad sisters. But she has a specialty in entertainment law. President and CEO of the African American Chamber of Commerce of New Jersey. You all have just listened to the interview with Tracy Thompson, Assistant Attorney General here in the state of New Jersey, also the President of the Association of Black Women Lawyers. But now we have another powerhouse, another bad woman coming from the southern part of the country, down in the ATL, Miss Lauren McAlpin. Lauren, how are you this evening?
I'm doing wonderful. How are you?
Good, good. Well, I tell you, I want you in a second here to tell our listeners a little bit about you and your background. But I want to tee it up by just talking about, how we met. One of your colleagues hosted a major event in New York City during the Super Bowl, and I had a chance to chat with you there, and I couldn't wait to get you on the show to tell our listeners about some of the exciting things that you're into. But let's start a little bit about your background, where you're from, and your upbringing, any siblings, and the college you attended, and we'll start off easy, and then we'll get right into it.
All right. Well, I'm originally from Louisville, Kentucky, so not quite the South, in the Midwest South. I have one brother who's getting his master's at the University of Kentucky, and that's also where I attended undergrad. I received my bachelor's at the University of Kentucky in sociology and moved to Atlanta to attend law school.
Wow, I tell you, yeah. Kentucky, when I think about Kentucky, I think about the good whiskey and the horses.
And the great basketball?
Oh, well, I'm from the Big East, so I got to push back on that a little bit. But there are some players at the Rupp Arena, so I'll give them a little shout out.
Yeah.
So, all right. So why Atlanta for college? Why did you come up to the ATL?
Well, when I was interested in law school, one thing that really interested me was entertainment law. Mm-hmm. And when I was doing my research, I looked at New York and LA, and I started learning more about the growing industry here in Atlanta. And I saw that the state was actually providing some of these tax cuts for motion pictures to come to the surrounding areas and film. And I just really thought that it would be a unique area for me to come and thrive and really grow with the city as it's getting into the entertainment industry on a deeper level. So.
I think your research had it right. I mean, Tyler Perry has a studio down in Atlanta that is just a huge place. I had the privilege of going by there a few times during my visits to the city, and there are a number of television shows now that really showcases the city. So I think you were right. And oftentimes, as the president of the chamber, I talk to a lot of business owners, and they go into business oftentimes after having a great meal. They have these dreams and they start businesses. But you did the proper thing. You did the research, and you see that there's a huge growth potential there and a need for the services that you could provide. But before we talk a little more about getting to the entertainment law, I see you are an honor student, and I know we may have some young folks out there that are listening to the broadcast this evening, and just share with us what it took to be an honor student in terms of the focus, the discipline, and just that whole competitive spirit to be consistent in having good academic performance.
Right. Well, I think I'm a competitive person by nature. I mean, that's one thing. And when you stick me in a setting and tell me I'm going to be graded and ranked by the people sitting next to me, I'm definitely going to work that much harder to end up on top. But I think what was also important is that I found my passion. And I believe that when you find that you're passionate in something, it makes it that much easier to really focus and be self-disciplined and to stay up late hours to study or to choose studying over going out with your friends. And lastly, I had a great support system. Honestly, I had parents and family members who were all about academics and really pushed me to succeed. And I also met a good core group of girls in law school that really surrounded me and helped me to keep pushing even when I felt like I couldn't go anymore. So I think that for younger people that are out there listening, I think that one, finding your passion, and also just having a good core group of people around you that continues to push you to succeed. I think that's very important.
Well, you said a number of key points. The passion. They often say don't get into any career choice that you don't have a genuine love for. You talked about sacrifice, being able to prioritize what you do and really shooting to be successful. You have to not only mark those priorities, but pursue them as if the outcomes are really going to mean something. And then the last thing, you talked about the support system. And I know I'm from the Northeast, but there is a thing about the South in terms of education. It still resonates with folks as being something that is critically important. And so I got all of that from what you just shared. So with that said, let's talk about entertainment law. What does that really mean? What does that encompass?
Well, really, entertainment law is just a combination of different types of law. Entertainment attorneys, they represent clients in the entertainment industry, whether it's television, radio, motion pictures, music, theater, and they represent them in their intellectual property, dealing with their trademarks, their name and likenesses, their copyrights, and also helping them draft and negotiate contracts and music deals, or whether it's the tax credits for the motion pictures or the agreements with the actors from the actual studio to the actors. So it's an array of different topics put under one big heading of entertainment law.
You know, I'm just sitting here in the studio saying this is bad with all capital letters. She is bad. But out of, you gave me kind of a broad overview of the industry and the different nuances of the industry. Is there, if you were to choose a couple segments of the industry that you like the most, or you think that they really, you're more passionate about those areas than others?
I would say between motion pictures and also music, because I grew up in the arts. I grew up around a very artistic family. Everybody played an instrument. Everybody sings, except for me. I don't sing. I play instruments, but I can't sing. But I appreciate being around talented people. And because of that, that's what really drove me into the motion picture industry and the music industry.
So who influenced you to go the legal route? There's a ton of areas that you could have pursued, but why did you want to be a lawyer?
Well, it started at a very young age. I had parents, like I said, that put a very big emphasis on education. And I remember my mom giving me a book at a very young age that just had a bunch of different careers in it and things to major in college. I mean, I was probably in elementary school when she handed me this book. But one thing that really stuck out to me was the law. And as I grew up, I didn't really know all the different aspects of the law. I knew that there were attorneys dealing with criminals, and that's about it. But as I grew older and I found out that there was this thing called entertainment law, and that there was a way to really put my passions together with a legal mindset, I was just in love. And that's one thing that I went after. I found a way to put something I was very passionate about with something that I felt like I could be good at.
Well, you come across not only passionate, but very knowledgeable about the industry, and I think that's important for any potential client that's listening. So before I go to the next question, what about telling folks how they can get in contact with you? Let's get that on the table right now, and then we'll get right back into the interview here.
Okay, definitely. As far as social media is concerned, I'm on Twitter. My handle is ENTESQ. I'm on LinkedIn. You can find me under Lauren McAlpin, and you can also email me if you have any questions. And my email address is lrmcalpin@gmail.com.
Now, I think they got that, and we'll do it again before we conclude. And your interest in the whole sports agency, being a sports agent. Let's talk about that industry. You have any idea of how large that industry is in terms of dollars, and why is this something of interest to you?
Well, it's definitely a very big industry. I'm not sure about the actual dollar amounts, but I think I became interested in becoming a sports agent because one day somebody told me I couldn't, basically. Honestly, I'm one of those people that you tell me I can't do something, it makes me want to do it that much more. And I was at a sports and entertainment panel, and I remember asking a question. I can't even remember what the actual question was to this gentleman that was a sports agent, and he basically flat out told me, you'll never make it in that industry. There aren't many women in that industry, and the ones that are, they don't really succeed. And I personally felt like I have the skills, I have the mind, I have the ability to negotiate just as well as the men do, and it pushed me that much harder to research the sports arena, and it made me want to do it that much more.
I've been motivated by the same kind of foolishness time and time again, and nothing gets you fired up more than someone telling you you can't do this or you can't do that. And when I started this chamber back in 2003, I started working on the strategic plan, and we structured the organization as a 501c3 because our focus is education and advocacy, and most chambers of commerce across the U.S. are 501c6 organizations because many of them do a lot of lobbying, and as a C3 organization, you have limitations. But when I read the IRS tax code, I didn't see anything that precluded me from doing this, and so I just focused, got it done, and I've started a number of them since. In New York State, got that organization founded about a year and just under 2 years ago. So don't tell me that I can't do something, so I can relate to that.
Right.
So as a woman today in this industry, do you know other women that you interact with in this industry, and what are their feelings, or how are they buying today?
Luckily, my boss, Kimberly Haynes, she has introduced me to a lot of amazing women in the industry, and they echo that it is very difficult for females, especially black females, to really rise to the high ranks as female sports agents. But they've been very supportive, and luckily they haven't been as competitive as I thought that they were going to be, and just see me as the next person coming up trying to step on their toes. They've been very helpful and helping me understand the business, helping me understand what I need to do to set myself apart from others in the business, and really just being there in case I have any questions. So it's been a very supportive process so far.
What I liked about your response just now is that it tells me that the women that you've been having some conversation about this particular industry realizes that it's a big pie out there, and sometimes folks can get so caught up on thinking that you're going to take something off their table, not realizing the magnitude and the opportunities that exist. And so you just got to go out there and make it happen. Is there a particular sports area that's your preference? Basketball, baseball, hockey, rugby?
Well, I don't know about hockey, but I'm always a big football fan. I'm a big football fan. My brother played football all the way through high school, and I just love the game. So I'm taking my certification to become an NFL agent. And then I'll also look at the NBA as well. I just feel like there are a lot of guys in both the NFL and the NBA that need good people that believe in them and that are willing to support them, and not just after a quick dollar. And that's what my goal is, to kind of set myself apart. I just really want to be there to make sure that these gentlemen know what they're signing, know exactly what they're worth, and to just be a breath of fresh air for those in basically a Shark Tank is what I'm in. So that's what I want to be.
No, I tell you, we're going to take a break here in a minute, but you kind of alluded to the area of questioning that I want to go down. So why don't I start, and then we'll break. We have just under 10 minutes left, but you talked about the young people with the talent and the ability and the potential, but why should athletes have an agent, and when should the process start?
They should definitely have an agent to ensure that they have somebody with expertise to negotiate a good deal. I think that's why they should have it. I mean, some people don't use an agent and they think they can negotiate it themselves, but it makes more sense to know what you're signing, have somebody that has the know-how to talk to these people on the other side of the table and to get you the best deal possible. And you also need somebody that cares about you. So it's not just having any agent, because any agent isn't going to do the same thing that an agent that actually has the time and money to put into you and to invest in you.
And the process should start when, I mean, I got the potential. I'm shooting three-pointers all over the place. There's a lot of interest in me. I think I'm the man. But when should that process of engagement of an agent start?
Right. Well, first it depends on what sports you're playing and the actual rules, because certain agency requirements allow you to approach a player at an earlier stage in the process than others. So I would look at the NCAA manual that can kind of tell you, when you can actually employ an agent, when you can start discussing anything with an agent. But you can also talk to your coaches, an attorney, or any advisors to kind of guide you in the right direction as to when you are ready. Because everybody's process is different, and some people think that their child is ready for an agent, and they're really not. So.
No, I think that's a great answer there. Why don't we just take a little break here? This is John Harmon on the Empowerment Hour. You're listening to Lauren McAlpin, a very talented lawyer by way of Kentucky, who's down in Atlanta. And so we'll be back. You're listening to 920, The Voice. John Harmon, President and CEO of the African American Chamber of Commerce of New Jersey. We have here with us this evening Miss Laurie McAlpin, who is an entertainment lawyer, but also is engaged in the whole sports agent practice of sports agency, and she has really enlightened us on a number of important components of that business. So Lauren, let's talk about, we just kind of alluded to when a kid or athlete should engage an agent, but the parents, we've heard stories in the past where parents have taken gifts, if you will. Where do parents find out what the rights and wrongs, the things they can do and the things they cannot do that could potentially jeopardize the future of their kid?
Well, I would definitely start with the actual NCAA manual. They have all the regulations for what individuals can and cannot take from agents, especially depending on the sports that they play. But also talk to the coaches if you're in doubt, people that you trust, advisors, attorneys, just to make sure that you're on the up and up. Because the last thing you want to do is endanger your child's potential in playing in the NCAA.
Yeah, no, you're right. You don't want them to miss out on a big payday. Now, some of the athletes you work with have foundations, and the event that I was there with you guys were recognizing a number of athletes for their work outside of professional sports. And please tell Kimberly I said hello. That's my friend down there. But talk a little bit about that.
Well, I work for Omni Group LLC, and what we do, we help athletes and entertainers establish their nonprofit foundations, their 501c3s, to ensure that they're having the correct governance. We even help them with the IRS documents to make sure that I think you mentioned before, the Chamber of Commerce having to go through certain things to make sure that they're on the up and up with the IRS. So we help them with that, and we also help them with the day-to-day, the marketing, the branding, even the program planning.
Well,
with their concerts.
I think that's great because the guys that you all honored that night were very, very good young men, and we've had Jericho Crotchy on the show last week, and I thought he did a fantastic job. So why don't you tell the listeners one more time how they can contact you, and then you can talk to us about your Alicia Keys on the piano, because I see that's one of the things that you do as well, and we'll close this out.
All right. Well, you could contact me on Twitter at ENTESQ. I'm on LinkedIn under Lauren McAlpin. And my email address, if you have any questions for me, are LRMCALPIN@gmail.com.
And when did you start playing the piano, and what are some of the kind of songs that you could play? You know, I want to see how good you are.
Well, the piano was kind of thrown at me at a very young age. Like I said, everybody's house in my family has a piano in it. So pretty much as early as I can remember, I was playing the piano. And then I think when I was about 9, I started actual piano lessons and violin lessons and all that good stuff. So I was doing classical music, a little bit of ragtime, some jazz. You know.
Well, you owe me. The next time we get together, we're going to find a piano. And you know, you're saying this on the radio. I really need to hear your skills. But we're going to bring this chat to a close. But, Lauren, I will definitely be in touch. Listeners, please take her up on the invitation to ask a question. And those who may be in need of her services, please feel free to reach out to her, because this is a very talented woman that has the ability to help you go to the next level. And for those of you who have listened to us every Monday from 5 to 6 here on the Empowerment Hour, we're delighted to have you as a part of our listening audience, and we encourage you to continue to tune in and be on the lookout for our website for updates at aaccnj.com and also at 920thevoice.com, and you'll find out what we're doing here in the state of New Jersey and around the country. And for those who are going to join us March 7th in Washington, D.C. at the Acadian Restaurant on New York Avenue from 12 to 2, I'll be installed as the incoming chairman of the board for the National Black Chamber of Commerce. So we thank you for tuning in, and we ask that you would please look at our respective websites for updates in terms of what we're doing. We always have an exciting guest on the show, and the Chamber is always doing some great things. So we encourage you to find a way to get connected to the Chamber. One of the things that we say unequivocally is that we can guarantee your success, and all that we require is that you come in and take the membership subscription, but moreover, be serious about where you want to go. And if you could do that, we can do the rest, and I can assure you 1 year from now you would be in a better place. Until next time, this is John Harmon. Thank you.